Hey there, welcome to another exciting episode of my 30-day guitar challenge. Today I'm going to follow up on a previous segment about practice. I want to talk a little bit about time and how much to practice. So this will be short and sweet, hopefully, and won't be doing any playing. I just want to share some opinions about like how much time to practice and et cetera, in order to get better at this. I think that, it just depends on what your goal is, but we'll just kind of aim high, just assume that maybe you're really serious about playing guitar and or any instrument or anything, and you want to be, the best you can possibly be at it. When I get a student that's sort of expressing those kinds of goals, I usually say, you got to get really serious about, or realistic about how time consuming this is. I think I'm a big fan of the book Talent is Overrated, or just the idea of it. I think that's the guy who originally said something like 10,000 hours to master something. I don't know about the number, but I do believe that people aren't just sort of born to play the guitar really well. They just come out of the womb just zipping up and down the neck. I just think that's all just sort of urban myth and stuff. Even though you do see, 6-year-old guitar players playing better than I ever will, I think in every case, there's somebody who went through a period of total immersion. And you could argue that when you're a little kid in elementary school, that's when you have the most time. It's much harder to do it as an adult. But every good musician I know about and I've read about, just went through some period where they were just completely immersed in it. You'll see somebody who said, I'm sort of making this up, but I'm pretty sure it was Ralph Towner, one of my absolute guitar heroes. Didn't start playing guitar until he was like 22, maybe. And I think he had played piano before that. But he talks about how he went to Europe, I believe, and studied classical guitar, but was playing pretty much like all the time. And I mean all the time. Like when you're basically every other time except for when you're eating or sleeping. And I think that rings true for a lot of people. Maybe it seemed more casual to them because they were just sitting on the couch watching football, but they were playing like 6, 7, 8 hours a day. So I'm not saying that that's what you have to do, but I think we have to be realistic about when you see people who are playing super well, about how much time they probably put into it, even if they sort of downplay it. So, it's just about kind of having realistic expectations. I mean, I remember joking with another guitar player I know about, the old sort of adage you hear like, oh, you should practice 30 minutes a day. I mean, really, it takes me 30 minutes to get my picks all sorted out, get the coffee going, my pencil sharpened. I mean, it takes me 30 minutes to start practicing. It's, really, I think if you want to get deep into it, I think 3 hours would probably be, for me personally, like if I get less than 3 hours a day, I go backwards. And there's enough to work on. So, if you're, it's mainly just a hobby and stuff, and you're hearing this guy saying, hey, you should play 3 hours a day, I understand, go pound sand, buddy. I'm just saying, do the most you can, and do the most you can with the time that you have. That's what's worked for me. The various points in my life when I've had more time or I've had more drive or whatever, that's when I've had the most growth. And being, an adult married man with children and all the sort of things that go along with that, it's challenging. And so I feel like it's constantly like trying to figure out how you're going to do all this stuff, So, just to put it out there again, just shooting high. I mean, like a really big one for me, I remember it was 1998, the year my daughter was born. We put the television out on the curb. No more TV. Haven't seen one since. Well, I do in hotels. That's another story. But you've got to look, the point is to look around your life and try to find what I call time sucks. Things that, so now would probably be the internet. So yeah, a few years ago you said, no TV, that was one thing. Now you can just sort of watch it on the internet, right? But look around at these things and if you still need to go through this period or you want to spend your whole life in this period of being immersed, you got to look what is eating your time and how can you open up time. For me, I try to, I don't really believe in multitasking because I think you can really only pay attention to one thing at a time. But there's some, on some level, I think you can get away with it. So if you've got to take out the garbage or you've got to walk the kids to school, maybe walk back, but be listening to, if you're working on Autumn Leaves, maybe listen to 10 versions of someone playing Autumn Leaves on the walk back or something. I would never go to a grocery store without headphones. Just think of ways that you can double up on your practice and think of things that are kind of, that are time sucks. I think television, entertainment, other hobbies, sports, I'm sorry, but you got to take a long, hard look at those things. You can't really do everything in one lifetime. So anyway, so the challenge for the day is, if it sounds appealing to you to kind of go nuts and just make this whole life about practice, really look at where all your time is going and see where you can kind of double up on things a little bit and where you can kind of eliminate things, even though it might be kind of hard, so you can really get that kind of time in. And I promise you that if you can put in something like 3 or 4 hours a day, even if it's just sustained for 10 days, you'll be a very different player after those 10 days than had you maybe just played sort of 20 minutes a day or something. So do the best you can, and hopefully that's helpful.